We got samknoll. We got some 7x7. He averages 4 minutes. This video is 4:02. Considers edges to be the best, centers the worst. 3 to 4 years, 14 to 21 hours a week. So pretty serious. It's pretty legit. 3 to 4 years at 14 to 21 hours is like pretty solid. Says his primary goals are he wants to be world, continental, and national class. Those are, I'm pretty sure Sam's American, so those aren't that different. But like in terms of where you're from, that could be insanely different. Like if you're from like Africa or South America, world, continental, national class make it very different. But if you're America, you gotta be pretty good to be those. Okay, so making Nats finals in 5, 6, 7 will be cool eventually. That's a much more concrete goal with some specific timing. So I like that. Making Nats finals 5, 6, 7. But just kind of like, let's get an idea of what that takes. Just to, actually it's faster. It's right there. Let's just get an idea of what that takes because, you know, there's so many people at Nationals. So it was 102 in 5x5. 6x6 was 158, so just about 2 minutes. And 7x7 I think was about 3 minutes. Yeah, so maybe a little faster next year, but you're looking for those not like world-class barriers, but those like your legit barriers, like a minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, like pretty advanced stuff. So we're about a minute off, so certainly in like not too crazy. Like that's if you're at 4 minutes flat and you're looking for 3, I think that's, you know, it's pretty reasonable. It's a lot of work gonna be involved, but you know, I don't think that's unreasonable at all. What cube is this? Is this my cube? I hope it is. I think it looks like it. It looks like it. Good cube. Let's see what we got. Lighting's all right. Let's see. It looks a little yellowy, but we going. Quick note right here. Just like at 4 minutes, like it's not a huge deal. You don't need to memorize 2 bars at 4 minutes, but it looks like pretty clear that you don't know where your second bar is going to come from. So I'd really recommend like memorizing your first bar is usually really easy because like in this spot there's I already see like a couple of 3-on-1s. I don't see anything really easy in this case, but definitely want to be looking for that second bar. Oh, it's a haze. Okay, yeah. That's what I like to hear, Sam. Oh yeah, Sam's an active chatter, so we'll get some good feedback. That was a yellow. Okay, so middle bar yellow first. So doing middle first on every sol, I talk about this a lot. It's like, okay, so you're actually one sec. Because of the way you're holding this, I'm gonna scooch the video. There we go, much better. There we go. Doing middle bar first, I think it's fine at this stage. I would just recommend if you see something insanely easy, maybe try and go middle bar second or third. But I think just locking into middle bar first is totally fine at this point. I do talk about sometimes where like if you're really fast, you shouldn't be doing middle bar first. But I think in 4 minutes, it's pretty reasonable. Just maybe think if you see something crazy easy that you might want to get out of your comfort zone a little bit, but it's not like something you really need to focus on. All right, good there. Oh, I like that. So right here, really common thing right here would be to like do the rotation, put the yellow face on top, and then do an R, and then do another rotation. But just this wide view seems really simple, but a lot of people do not do that. I like that. Yeah, Sam says he doesn't know. He's never been taught how to do. He's never been taught how to do middle bar later, and it's not something you need to be taught really. Like maybe if you are really fast and you need to like learn it immediately, but if you just start experimenting just a little bit when you get really easy cases, you can kind of like naturally just pick it up. You have a lot of time. This is not something that's necessary until you're definitely under 3. So if you just kind of start thinking about it now, you'll be more than like it'll be a nice smooth transition. You don't have to worry about like learning it. A lot of this stuff if you start early is not a big deal. Okay, good selection there. Right here, this is kind of big. This is big. Okay, right here. So this is actually huge. This is like really important. So right here, you're in this position, right? And so there's a couple things that you got going on that are incorrect here. So first of all, say there are no extra white pieces. You just have this bar under your right thumb, and you have this middle white bar. Don't do a slice. There's no reason to do a slice here. Like he did a slice to just put this bar up. Do Like he does essentially like this. When you can just do this, which is way faster because you want to reduce your slices. So there's no reason to do slices unless you don't have to. Secondly, since I don't think there's any white pieces under his thumb, I can't exactly see. It's always a good idea to you want to do a U2 first. Oops, 1 second. Since there's no white pieces under his thumb, and there's these 2 white pieces right here, and there's no white pieces on the left. You want to do what you want to do here is you want to do a U2, put these 2 white pieces on the left, and then do a wide move, and then that way you'll insert this bar and you'll pull these pieces out. Because just in general, the goal is to have on your U face where you're doing your white center, you only want to have full bars. And if white pieces are on the U face, they should always be full bars. They should never be partials, because then you have to pull them back down and use them. Because later you're gonna have to pull down those 2 pieces, which is unfortunate. Like right here again, same thing. Same thing right here. Like you gotta pull down those 2 pieces on. This is really important and something that everyone should be doing at every skill level. Like insanely important thing, really. Because it takes almost no time and it saves you a lot of time. Okay, that was better. Pull that down there. What was that? Okay, so right here, just a quick kind of... So you have... I'll just do it with a 5x... I can do this on a 5x5, so... You got... Okay, so you pretty much have this case right here, where you have... This is the case right here. And so what Sam does, he goes like this to pull the corner down, and they go like that. This is like technically less... Or it might be the same amount of moves, but just do this instead. No rotations. So, you're right here. Like, doing this extra rotation thing is just awkward, and I don't like it. Like, it looks smooth, but it's just slower and riskier in general, so... Alright, just fine. I like the TPS. I like, it's like, there's no wasteful moves, really. In the sense of, like, you're not doing moves just while you don't know what's going on. There are definitely, like, there are wasteful moves, but, like, that's because of selection, not because of other stuff. Oh, that double bar, I like that. Okay, I like making sure you're not locking yourself into middle is out. Fine. That was weird. I essentially exclusively never recommend. So right here, right here, you have your last 2 centers. No matter what, you should never do your rotation during your last 2 centers, no matter what. Like, even if you like usually build on F and you want to rotate so that your U center's on F, you should just get used to just building it like on F. Like doing that rotation right there is awkward and cumbersome, and like don't do that. Whoa, what the hell? Okay, I'm really confused. Sam, let me know in chat. Do you build the middle 3 and then the outer 2 on last 2 centers? Because that's weird. Like, that was some weird stuff. Pretty much in general for last 2... Okay, yeah, don't do that anymore. Sam says he does this. What you want to do for last 2 centers is, no, I guess less. Okay, well, you want to build... You essentially want to build your... So for kind of Sam speed, it's fine to build your middle bar first, that's fine. And then build your middle bar, and then build... You can either build your left 2 bars at the same time. You probably just want to either build an inner bar, and then build an outer bar, or go outer bar, then inner bar. But build your middle, and then build your 2 bars on the left. in any order. But then the next bar you build is your next inner bar here, and then you build your outer bar, and you'll only have to use comms for this outer bar. So that's important to go in that order. So yep. Oops, I didn't switch the thing, but it's not a big deal. Kind of thing that big happened. Ah, shoot. So right here, Sam did the flip like this with the rotation. Gotta do it like this. Thumb, boom. Left thumb never leaves the center. Never leaves the center. Always like that. Every single time. Boom. Very important. You just gotta, something you just gotta have to get used to. There's no real secret to it. You just gotta switch. I'm liking the edges. The edges are really smooth. I'm liking it because no wasted moves. Recognition seems pretty solid. I'm not liking that stuff as much. Those wrist rotations right there. Usually recommend a little more to do those U wide prime things because like especially at this speed, it's hard to switch that type of stuff. But it's like the less you've been doing it, the less you've been cubing, the easier it is to make major switches like that. So I kind of recommend doing less of those rotate oh shit, doing less of the all right, we're doing our edges. 1 second, I just get to edges. So we're doing edges here. Less of the rotate and then do this stuff, which is more common on 7x7, and more of the UI prime stuff like this. And then less of this, because this stuff is just faster in general. It's a little harder to do and get used to, but it's faster and definitely something that's worth. I definitely think it's worth getting really good at. Shoot, 1 second, I need to check this. All right. Alright, some slice up slice, totally fine. At 4 minutes, I don't really think transitioning a cycle is too big of a deal. You can maybe start to think about it if you really want to go get it, but not a big deal. I your last 4 edges, or your last 2 edge algs for 5x5, important stuff. Didn't know that, or know most of them, so that's pretty good. I like that. Very interesting finger tricks, but in general, the finger tricks are pretty interesting. But I think they're okay as long as you can do them consistently. Pretty much, there's nothing too crazy, but 17. $203 out of. So 203 centers into 359. That's pretty. The centers are a little weaker, but not really by that much. So pretty balanced in general. Let's see, we got polygon blue first. Yep, that was fine. Again, I'd like to see a little more knowledge on what's going to happen on the second bar, but not a big deal. It's a good center start. This is good. A little uncertain there, but... I'm liking this one a little bit better so far. Yeah, definitely liking this one better. nice. Red is right there, and then some more pieces. It's fine. Wait, do you always do middle 3 to outers on every center? Because normal split's 230, 115, 15. Okay, yeah. 230, 115, 15 is like really heavy on the edges. Also, wait, yeah, do you always do inners to outers on this? Always doing inners out is like is gonna really hurt you in the long run. Like doing center bar first on 7x7 isn't the biggest deal, but doing inners and out is like absolute killer on absolutely killer on last two, and you gotta stop doing that. Also, you did the same rotation where you put your U face on the F face and you swapped them again, so don't do that. Oh, there's a case right here. But like doing inners to outers is really like killer. So in general, especially because when you're doing your next 4 centers, and you start with, say you have the left 3 and you're working on your next 2, like what's great is that you now have complete freedom on this right side. This is why like people sometimes like to build like your half centers and then put them on left, because you can still do complete freedom whatever you want on the right side. But if you lock down your middle 3 bars first, it like gets really cumbersome. Also, just in general, it makes it a lot harder. Really highly recommend, like, you only want to lock yourself down if you have to. If you wanted to force yourself to always do one way, I'd recommend doing left side, all left side, and then switching over to do like the right side. But really, if you can do middle bar first, always, that's okay. But then you should do whatever bar is best next. Always just pick the best bar. Don't even care which bar it is. Right here, so right here you have this case right here. This is what's up next. And you do something else, but just do this. Boom. Yeah, you just think this is a lot more moves, but you can just done the right thing. Yeah, more of that rotation stuff. Yeah, it's like that U wide 3 prime stuff like that will really help out a lot. Just like it just doing that and switching to stop doing hand rotations for your F primes is really gonna change the fluidity of your solve. It's really gonna help like you keeping your left thumb. Like if you notice, there's a lot of like your home base for where you're holding the cube is like constantly changing. Your left thumb's position is changing a lot. While if you look at more advanced 7x7 big cube solvers, their left thumb is always kind of in the same spot in the cube, or whatever hand they're holding it with, and yours is kind of like all over the place, just a lot more than it needs to be, which is definitely aided by the fact that you're kind of doing a little weird stuff and rotating the cube for some of your slice moves, along with your F primes using your left hand, or yeah, rotating and using your left hand. But overall, edges are pretty solid here. I think your splits are 230, 115, 15. Like your edges are pretty solid. And like I think the recognition here is good. I like it. If your splits are normally 230, 115, and this is what I'm looking at, I think it might be like centers are definitely worth more time looking at, but it might be time to like think about just like throw in some cycles if it's like really easy. Nothing. I don't think it's very necessary at all, and nothing that I really spend a lot of time focusing on. But like kind of just maybe sometimes recognizing when you have a really easy case for a cycle versus not. I double check. Okay, my question is, I really doubt that you knew you were gonna get actually, it doesn't matter, because unless you know you're gonna get double parity, what you want to do when you get your last two centers, when you get your last two edges on 7x7, unless you know the cases to where you know you're gonna get inner slice parity only, and when you get to your last two edges, just treat it like two sets of 5x5 edges. Like, don't even think about it. You're at 4 minutes, and you know, like, at this point, you know your last two edge cases, which is good. That's appropriate. Just use that knowledge that you have. Like here, you know, you could have done a case you knew, but instead you kind of like preserve the parry to the end. Use what you know. You know your last two edge cases. Just treat it like two sets of 5x5 edge cases. You've done the inner parity. You've done the first parity, and then you just had a normal case. And it would have been faster in this point. Also, there's a little bit of uncertainty right here. Like, you do this U2, and then you do another U2 because you realize it was in the wrong spot, like, and then you move it back. That just kind of like, you didn't realize it, and you had to do the moves to find the recognition. Try and get used to recognizing before you do the moves, just in general, for stuff like that. Overall, though, I mean, the edges are pretty clean, especially the biggest, like, the TPS and the recognition edges I really like. There's a few notes on last four and kind of the how you're turning as opposed to the speed at which you're turning. There's an F2L trick for that, but it's a 7x7 solve. And Sam's pretty... Okay, so if you're going to be focusing on, like, mostly big cubes, I'd really recommend learning some big cube OLL and PLL algs. Because, like, if your goal is to make Nats finals in 5, 6, 7, it's not very necessary to have grade 3x3, but you can, like, get really frazzled, like, when you get a bad OLL or PLL for big cubes and it's hard to execute. That can, like, add, like, multiple seconds. Like, right here, there's just a lot of better cases that don't, like, that's a really awkward case. Also, right there, you're kind of doing... There's the pure D move one is definitely better, so... Just recommend if like you're really serious about getting better at big cubes specifically, look up some big cube OLL PLL algs. Felix has a great sheet on cubeskills.com. Just under other algorithms, big cube OLLs and PLLs. That's where I pulled mine, so they're pretty good. I'm only practicing big cubes for New Jersey. Yeah, big cubers. So you got 2x2 on your desk. I'm gonna bet this solve's probably Brandon doesn't even know the full last two edges, and that's stupid. Like, you should know your last two edges. They'll cut, like you can spend, like, 3 hours and cut a whole second, or you could spend, like, 3 weeks to cut a whole second. Which one sounds easier? Slice is okay, because there's another piece, but... Right there again, really big thing to see. In this case specifically, it's like really important. So this is your last bar, like it's your second to last bar, and you have this piece stuck in here right here. You gotta do a double wide turn. This is huge. And now you see that piece is just stuck in the U layer, and later you have to pull it. See, now you have to pull it out. You could have eliminated that entire like 3 seconds just by doing a wide move instead, which would cost you no time. A little weird. Some of those center selections are a little weird. Some stuff. That was better. That was fine. Doing these inner to outer centers is really hurting. Like you just like, it really narrows your choices of what you're allowed to do. Like, oh, well, in this case, it doesn't matter because you're doing inners, outers. What the fuck was that? What was that? What is this? Like, I'm so confused what this is. 1 sec. I'm gonna get there in a second. So, first of all, in this case, you did a double wide move to insert this, but since this bar right here is 4 out of is 4 to 5. You should have done a slice because you could have kept this bar, this almost complete bar in the youth layer, and then finished it off really easily. Instead, I do not know what you do here, but do you do a comm? Oh, I think you do a comm to solve that piece. Okay, so 2 things. Never do comms. The only time you can ever do a comm is when you're doing your last bar on your last center. Second of all, big thing right here is you had essentially... That didn't work out. You have this right here, right? So you have this, and you insert it on the right. But in this specific case, because you have 4 to 5 here, you want to do a slice to insert, and then this will leave you this bar up here to deal with. Second of all, assuming you're now in this position, never do a comm. You can always just pull this up and then like do something like this real quick. Like you only do a comm is when there's only 1 free face, but you have 4 free faces to work with. So right here, I'd go like boom. You can go like that. You can go like that. There's a lot of different options that are really fast that you don't need to do comms for. That's pretty big because like I think I've seen you do comms a couple of times, so you don't have to. And like the only time you should ever do a comm on 7x7 is on your last bar on your last center. Because now you have to do another comm like right here. Or I don't know what the hell is going on. Yeah, there's no point. Oh, oops, 1 sec. Oops, my bad. There's not too much point talking about last 2 centers when you don't do the right order. So yeah, just make sure you switch to the right order. Middle, left 2, right 2. Left 2 in any order, and then right middle, then right far outer right. Yeah, edges are probably gonna. I'm gonna skip to the last 4. Edges are pretty solid. Mostly the turning stuff. The turning stuff will force you to smoothen out your edges, and I think it's hard for me to really pick apart your edges while you're turning. Is kind of whack on edges, but the look ahead's decent enough to where that's the biggest problem I have with it right now. That's alright. Okay, there's a lot of uncertainty what's going on right there. What the... Okay, the slice options on this one specifically are really bad. Like, some of the slices on this set of last 4 edges are... I'm gonna go back in a second. I just don't know if I watch the rest of this. I like the left and right hand usage. It's pretty good. Solid stuff and being able to use both hands. Good stuff there. Decently smooth through every stage, but 1 second. I do not know what's going on in these last 4. So, yo, Carter Bits, what's up? Thanks for the sub at 2 months. 1 sec. So right here. Okay, so we're here and we got. Okay, so the first thing right here is there's a 2x1 blue and yellow and 2x1 blue and yellow right here. So blue and yellow, you have these. This is like a 5x5 edge. You should do blue and yellow first. But then you do this flip, and then you do this flip, which is alright, that's okay. So now you have 2 3x2s. But you saw the other blue and yellow. So now you should finish blue and yellow and get the full edge done. Because it's still out there, but like, I don't know what's going on here. And then you do, but in that way, you do 2 flips instead of 1. Like really, if you're doing pure slice up slice in general on 7x7 edges, just solve a full edge first. Find the easiest edge and solve the full thing first. If you want to be super advanced, you can try and like influence other edges, but I wouldn't really recommend it. These edges were like a little weird. Just in general, I'd recommend starting to think about some cycles only in really easy cases. But for slice up slice, solve the easiest edge first and do the full edge, and then move on to the next edge, and then do your last 2 edges. And do them as 2 sets of 5x5 edges. So overall, pretty solid stuff. A lot of the mistakes I normally notice, like turning too fast or like doing a lot of crazy rotations or weird stuff while you don't know what's going on, don't exist. Smooth stuff is really good TPS I think is appropriate. The edges, the first 8 edges are really solid. I like that a lot. First 8 edges got to work on the turning though. I already mentioned. Last 4, think about cycles. I just went over last 4. 3x3 is solid. I like the use of both left and right hands throughout the solve. 3x3, if you want to be really serious though, pick up some big cube algs or OLL PLL. And centers, really work on some of that basics. Like the centers, you're missing a lot of the basic stuff. Like, oh, remove some of the U-layer pieces with your inserts. Make sure you're doing slices where you're not have to. Doing the right amount of slices. Not using comms. Not doing inners out. Like, you can stick with doing the middle bar first, but do not middle bar first and then pick any bar in any order, except for your last 2 where you go middle, left 2 in any order, then right middle, then right outer. Always do it like that, and yeah. Oops.